Yo, how's it going, Mathmech players? I know I've been gone away for quite a while now, so I realized I said I would release stuff on the 1st and 2nd of December, but if I'm being honest with you guys, life has just been catching up with me. I've had a few personal things to juggle here and there, so I thank you for your patience and I pray that you have a good understanding. But regardless, what I'm going to be doing going forward is releasing a lot of content back to back, so it might jumble and cross over other ones, but I just want to make sure that you guys are not deprived of content. I'm trying to provide a lot of guides here, so I'm trying to do my best, guys, either way. So in this particular video that I'm recording for now, I'm going to be going through the season 24 combos that you need to know. With a lot of the cards being released for Despia, we do need to actually learn some combos together and make sure that we provide not only consistency but impact, because those are the two things that win us duels, really. And of course, our opponent bricking, because that's always nice for us, right? So either way, I'm going to be going through the 4 different variations of Mathmech. So pure Mathmech, Spirit Mathmech, showing you what you need to aim for, as well as Firewall Mathmech and Code Talker Mathmech. And then I guess I can talk you through the following videos that will come out. So I've got Ignister Mathmech coming out, so showing you well, here's the thing. There are interruption boards that can show you like 20 interruptions, but I'm not going to be doing those. Those aren't really the style of play I do. I actually go for consistency and impact. I want to show you what you should be aiming for. If you can get 20 interruptions every time, then holy shit, GG's to you, because I wouldn't even play. I would just, if I was playing against you, I'd just scoop. As simple as that. So that's the only reason I don't play those decks. I just feel like the combo takes like half an hour, and then I don't know, either it pays off and you could have done it with less, or it doesn't pay off and you wasted all your time. So either way, I feel like, and plus I'll link you to channels that have done those combos, because they are very impressive and cooked up well, but to me it's just not something that I'm interested in sort of releasing. So yeah, I'm going to show you the best way to play Ignister for sure, and then I'm also going to do a Salamangreat video, because I actually think that being such a cool Cyburst deck and them having a bit of cool support this season, very strong deck. So if you're not looking to play Mathmech going forward, then you should have you should have options. I like the Cyburst archetype as a whole, so to me it's kind of like Dragon Link. Like, doesn't matter what Cyburst deck it is, to me it's a lot of fun. So either way, I'm going to go through that, but I'll tell you what, let's start rambling and go into the first portion of this video, which is pure Mathmech and the combo that you need to learn. So for each version of Mathmech that I'm going to show, guys, I'm just going to do a quick show of the deck list, so that way you don't have to go to my most recent video just to make this one make a lot more sense. So we'll just jump into them very briefly, and I can state the end board that we're going to go for. Now, this is pure Mathmech. You're very reliant on hand traps. There's actually not enough hand traps here, if you can believe it. So if we just get rid of one of these and one of these, we want to go spell, because this is pure Mathmech. We're very reliant on, so the end board is Terahertz, Heat Soul, and Super Factorial, and that's why we have all these hand traps, so that Heat Soul gives us a chance to get into these hand traps. And the reason we play Dotscaper is for 2 reasons. One is a great bridge for Small World. It literally can just get you into any starter, which is circular, or any extender, which is either diameter if you can't get it, or additional, whatever you need to keep your combo going, right? So that's one thing. And the other is that through a 1-card combo, which we'll show in just a moment, you can essentially secure Terahertz, Heat Soul, and Super Factorial just through 1 card, which is like circular, or 2 level 4 bodies, which is again the same as circular. So essentially, yeah, we need this card if you don't have an extender after you have circular. So if you have, I don't know, Ghost Spell, you normal summon it, go into Almirage, special summon 2 Exceed, that's circular. That's basically circular. And then if you have an additional extender and your opponent doesn't have any interruptions, you can build Terahertz, Heat Soul with Super Factorial without using Dotscaper. But if you don't have the extender, so just like I said in the example, Ghost Spell with 2 Parallel Exceed, then you're going to need to send Dotscaper from Terahertz's effect to complete said end board. So that's pretty much that. Why don't we jump straight into the combo so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So I'll see you there. Now for pure Mathmech, guys, we only actually need Mathmech Circular for the first combo, but for the second combo we would need a extender. So Addition actually provides quite a service here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do both combos in one, so we can explain one of them and then actually show the other at the same time. Now we're going to go for the most optimal version, so we're going to start with the Mathmech 1-card combo. So we're going to go send Sigma, bring back Sigma, so that way we can search for Super Factorial, use the 2 bodies to go into Allen Version, and that way we keep Sigma in the graveyard and not the banished pile. And now we're going to get Diameter to continue our combo, and then we're going to normal summon Diameter, so that way we can bring back Circular. Now this is where the combo gets a little bit, not messy, but very material dependent. So we're going to make Splash Mage, which is a pretty standard thing to do. Now we are going to use Splash Mage's effect immediately. We'll bring back circular just because diameter is such a heavy target body these days. Go into link decoder. Now use Splash Mage and link decoder to go into transcode, and then I'll just explain the difference between the two combos rather than recording both combos, because I'm pretty sure you guys are smart enough to, you know, be able to visualize the difference. So we're going to bring back Splash Mage, so that way we have all the natural bodies here. Now I'm going to go into terahertz, and this is where the difference matters. So without addition, so without having an extender, what we would have to do is send Dotscaper from terahertz's effect, so that Dotscaper by its own effect will summon itself to the field, and then we would use Splash Mage and Heat Soul to go into, Splash Mage and Dotscaper to go into none other than Heat Soul, as I just said. So, but because we have the extender, so I'm not going to waste time showing both when I can just, you know, explain one. We're going to send desave one, which is the optimal end board, guys, and then we're going to special summon addition, and that way we can use both of these to go into Heat Soul. And then let's see what we draw from it, because again, it's just a game of chance, seeing what kind of hand traps you can draw into. And Ash, yeah, not bad. So this would be your end board, guys. This would be the optimal end board. Now, I play Code Talker Mathmech, so for me, if I can't get the Code Talker stuff, this is actually what I fall back on. Apart from Heat Soul, I don't really play Heat Soul, but that's more of a personal choice. Let's see what we get in the next draw. And the reason why this is so good is because we have guaranteed 4 interruptions, so 2 from terahertz, 2 from super factorial, and then we just drew an Ash from Heat Soul. Let's see if we draw anything else. And just another extender for the follow-up play. And then, of course, Nibiru. So if they do clear the board, we could literally just, you know, tribute everything on the field. And hopefully we time it well so they have nothing. And then we can just, you know, extend our play from here. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't need to explain too much further. I tell you what, we'll jump straight into the Mathmech Spirit line. And then after that, we'll jump into Firewall Dragons. Okay, so guys, moving on to Mathmech with the Spirit line as support. The only real difference between this deck and pure Mathmech is just the simple application of Sakitama. So 2 of this card instead of 2 Ghost Spell. And the idea is that this deck list is more consistent for essentially creating Circular. Circular is the equivalent of 2 level 4 bodies, because if you can get 2 level 4 bodies on board, you can make Alan Version, and Alan Version will get you Circular. So that's pretty much the umbrella term, or the idea at least, to how this works and why Sakitama and, well, just the Spirit line in general is quite useful. Now, again, the end board is also quite similar, so you will end with terahertz, with Heat Soul, likely, although I like Protect Code. And then the difference is that you will try to go for a second Laplation with the Spirit line, because you have more opportunities to get those level 4 bodies on board. And Sakitama is quite expensive, but it is by far the best Spirit monster, because you have the other Tamas, so you have Nikki Tama and Aratama, but I do find that all 3, it's either you have Sakitama or you have all 3. I don't think you could have just these other 2, and it's a real shame because, like, Sakitama is so expensive, so I can understand why it's a bit of a ball ache to, yeah, have to spend a bit of money on this. But either way, I'm just going to share the truth with you guys. I've tried playing with these guys, but unless they have Sakitama, these 2 aren't very useful at all. But the 3 together, you can provide some insane combos. And before I get into the combos, there was a OCG deck list I saw where they just played 2 copies of each one, and it actually provided a lot of consistency. Like, I tried it out myself, but yeah, not the best, but still, at least you have 2 level 4 bodies, because you normal summon this, you normal summon the other. Again, 2 level 4 bodies, like, you can't really complain too much. Look, lots of extenders here. Still a lot of extenders here. Yeah, this is, yeah, you still have a lot of consistency to essentially create Mathmech Circular if you do not draw him. So that's pretty much the reason the Mathmech line works with spirits. But look, I'll show you the first combo where I show you a little bit of a bricking situation and a contingency playline you can do. And then the second combo is going to show you the optimal end board you can create with the power of the spirit monsters. All right, I'll see you there. Okay, so guys, for our first combo, I'm just going to show a contingency combo. Now, this is by no means the best board you can end with, but given in situations where you start with 2 normal summon bodies, this is where Sakitama shines. So when you look at we'll also count the interruptions that I've given up at the very end, just because it's very important that we count how strong this end board is and the possibilities that it still presents. So off of Sakitama's effect, we will normal summon itself, and as you can see here, we can still normal summon Diameter. It's also very useful when we have Nabla as well, because this is another way we can get into Diameter, but regardless, it's another level 4 body that we can just go into Alan Version, and it is nice that we have Diameter as the material, just because it provides that extra negate and a little bit of protection. Now, given if we had Nabla in hand, we could have extended the play even further. So what I mean by this is, from circular, we could have sent Sigma and then used Alembertian to tribute itself to get Nabla from hand. And that way, when we lose Sigma to the banish pile, it doesn't matter because we will still have the 3 relevant bodies to go into Laplation on the following turn. However, we can't do that now, so that is truly, truly unfortunate. What we could do... I'm wondering if we could do this. Let's try... So with Nabla, if I special summon this, we go here. Yep, tributes itself, brings out Nabla. Searches for circular. Yeah, no, it makes no difference. Either way, because even if I go into one link monster, I cannot get Sigma to come out the graveyard. So this is pretty much the combo going forward. So we've got Splash Mage, using these 2 as materials. And then from Splash Mage, we are going to bring back Nabla. Doesn't matter which of the ones you bring, as long as it's not Alembertian, because it's a rank 4, not a level 4. And then off of Decoder's specific requirement, you need a level 4 or lower Cyberse monster. So level here being the keyword. So we're going to go into Link Decoder using Nabla. And then we're just going to link climb into Terahertz through, well, this passage. So we're going to go Transcode Talker first. Bring back Link Decoder by its own effect. Bring back Splash Mage. And then use all 3 to go into Terahertz. And then there we go, we have a pretty standard end board. Well, I say pretty standard, but ideally we would not need to rely on this. It would be nice if we had Heat Soul as well, or Protect Code. But here, look, we have 4 interruptions, and I think from 2 cards that would be considered bricks otherwise, I think that's a very good end board. And I'm hoping that this is just a contingency board in the fact that, let's say you did have natural extenders, but your opponent had hand traps, you're still able to make an end board like this. Because if you can play for a few hand traps and have 4 interruptions, 4 interruptions is still something to deal with, guys. Like, at the end of the day, I've won games with less than this. So, and I'm sure you guys have as well. So this is still something to aim for, and I think this is the bare minimum. But enough about this. Let's jump straight into the optimal end board with the Sakitama line. Okay, so guys, now I'm going to show you the use of how the spirit monsters can just act as natural extenders, so that way we can get into the optimal end board for Mathmech with the spirit line. So I just want to bear in mind, Sakitama could literally be any other Mathmech monster. It could be addition, subtraction, and it's the same with Parallel Exceed. These 2 together are basically 3 extending cards, so it doesn't have to be the spirit line. I just want to show you how the spirit line can act as one of those helpful extenders. So starting with the Mathmech Circular 1-card combo, we're going to send Sigma, bring back this, and then we're going to send Sigma to the graveyard, bring it back of course like this, and then activate Circular to get Super Factorial. So now we've confirmed one portion of the plays. I'm going to go into Alembertian, get Diameter to hand, and then normal summon Diameter. Business as usual, guys. So very standard 1-card combo. Here we are. And then now this is where we use the extenders going forward. So we'll bring back Circular. Okay, now we're going to normal summon Aratama by its own effect, but this, again, it literally could have been Mathmech Edition, and we have the 3 bodies on board. And now we're going to use the 3 to go into Laplation. Oh, don't know what I've done there. And then here we are. So we use the first Laplation. Doesn't matter what you get rid of, because we're going to link this off anyway. Now, when we link this off, we're going to go into Splash Mage using these 2. And then now we're going to special summon Parallel Exceed. And remember, this doesn't have to be Parallel Exceed. It could just be 2 other extenders. They could literally be spirit monsters, or they could be another Mathmech body. It's better when they are it's better when they are Cyberse monsters, because it's a lot easier to climb into the rest of our Cyberse plays. So we're going to special summon. Let's do Circular. Bring this back here. Use Parallel Exceed to go into Link Decoder. And then use these 2 to go into Transcode. So you might notice here, I don't actually have a second Laplation because I used the wrong deck list. So don't copy what I just did. That was really bad. But either way, good thing it's against a bot. So now we have all the materials to go into Terahertz, and we don't have to use Terahertz's ability to send Dotscaper to the graveyard, because now we have the 2 natural bodies to go into Heat Soul anyway. So let's send D-Save 1. We'll do a quick round count of all the interruptions all together. So let's get Heat Soul. Let's see what we draw into as well. So really nice we have Imperm. You know, we just hard drew that. So we will count that, but we'll count it at the end. And then Maxi. Like, who wants to play on the Maxi? So again, Infinite Impermanence always in the far right or far left column in case you're playing against Pendulum. And then you always put it down first, and then you put Super Factorial down second. And there we go. Like, this is our end board with an additional hand pool. Now, it would be nice if we played through a few hand traps and then ripped a, you know, a more valuable card, because that way they have way less to work with. But, and this is very similar to pure Mathmech, but you do have to highlight that there are so many ways we can do this like board. It's just nice that the Spirit line provides those free bodies, so that way we can just go into a second Laplation. And like I highlighted before, I don't actually have a second Laplation, so the next turn would be completely useless. Let's see what we draw as another hand trap, just for the sake of showing what we can get. Alright, let's see here. Nabla. Alright, not so great. So let's just minimize this. So we have 2 interruptions from Terahertz, 2 from Heat Soul, and then we've luckily had a 5th from Infinite Impermanence, and then of course Maxi, because no one wants to play under Maxi. So yeah, this is a pretty good end board, guys, and it's very similar to pure Mathmech, but again, it's up to you whether you want to prioritize getting hand traps or whether you want to prioritize, getting consistency from the Spirit line bodies. Oh, not got a lot of storage left. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to move straight onto the Firewall stuff, and I'll see you there. Moving on to Firewall Mathmech, guys. As you can see here, I've got my 3 defensive bodies, and I am playing 2 Guardian. You are usually supposed to only play 1, but I find that I open with Guardian and Defensor so many times that when you open with this card, it makes Defensor useless, because you cannot special summon the other one from the main deck. So I am opting to play a second one. I do think it's quite useful. And of course, Dan Murray. I'll explain that in a bit. If you're willing to take the risk, this card could be fantastic, but of course it does present the risk of a brick, so that is completely up to you. But the optimal end board for this deck list is basically Singularity in the extra monster zone, co-linked with Terahertz below it, and then with Super Factorial and the free bodies for Laplation on the next turn. So that's pretty much your optimal end board. Let's jump straight into the combos, where the first combo is a 1-card combo, and then the second combo is it's the 1-card combo, but with an extension. There's a difference between what you can achieve with both. So why don't we jump into that right now? Okay, so guys, ideally I should use this hand for the second combo, but I can't be bothered to keep retrying until I get a good hand. So we're just going to trigger Maxi and then stop it with our own Ash Blossom. And there we go. Now, we only need either Circular or Defensor. Like I said, Circular is basically 2 level 4 bodies, and then Firewall Defensor by itself is just a 1-card combo because it can achieve those bodies. But for the sake of the Firewall theme, we will stick with Defensor first. So normal summon Defensor, link it off into Lingaribo, and then by its own effect, it's going to special summon Guardian from the main deck. That's why I hate to open with Guardian as well, hence why I'm going to play 2. And now you're going to link these 2 off into Splash Mage, so that Guardian will summon itself by its own effect, and then we're going to use Splash Mage to bring back Defensor by Splash Mage's effect. And now we have the 2 level 4 bodies to go into Alan Bershin, and we have our 1-card combo from there. So now we've got Alan Bershin, and yeah, we are going to use Alan Bershin to get another Circular because, well, I didn't plan for this. So, but either way, we are going to go into this even further. Yep. Now, of course, in a real game, I would use Small World to get another extender, and to be honest, I wouldn't even get rid of Circular. I would just try and bait out as many interactions as I can until I can get the optimal end board I can. So yeah, now that we have Circular, we're going to send Nabla, hence the purpose of why we run Nabla, because now from Alan Bershin, tribute itself, and it'll bring back Nabla onto the board. So that way, not only does it trigger Circular, so we have Super Factorial, and this portion of the combo is complete, we can now get Diameter from Nabla. And here we are. Fantastic. So now we can just continue into the rest of our plays, which is Link Decoder here, using Circular as material, using Splash Mage and Link Decoder to go into Transcode Talker, and basically all 3 of them come back, which is so crazy. So yeah, Link Decoder by its own effect will come back, and then Transcode will bring back Splash Mage. And then these 3 will go into, oh no, not quite yet. These 3 are going to go into Terahertz, and then Terahertz is going to send, there we go, Dotscaper to the graveyard. Now, this is pretty much identical to the pure Mathmech playline, but remember guys, this is a 1-card combo. There are so many times where I have opened up with just Defensor and then a bunch of hand traps, so I'm not even able to use anything to extend the play further. So it's useful to know a play like this, and you'll notice that, look, I don't have Singularity on the board, but that is the reality of a 1-card combo. I think it would be absolutely ridiculous if we were able to do that. And oh look, we've got Effect Veiler, so it's good for the next round, and then of course ignore these. But yeah, look, this is our end board going forward. I don't really think there's much else to say. Let's have a look at what we draw on the next turn, and then don't forget we have to send the Save Worm in the draw or standby phase. Yeah, we'll do the draw in a second. And this is where we send Oh, we don't send Danmari. We don't send Danmari. That's for the next combo. I almost caught myself out there. Okay. Right, and then we got Heat Soul. And there we go, look, another hand trap. So this is pretty strong. Now, that's the first combo, guys. I'm not going to dwell on this any further. I'm going to jump straight into the second combo where we can really see some power happen. Right, so onto the second combo, guys. Now, as great as it is that I've opened up with Circular, we are not going to be using him at the start. So we just want Defensor for its one card combo to match the theme of Firewall. And then we're going to use the one extender, which is Subtraction. So starting with Firewall, we follow the same procedure as before. So we normal summon it, link it off so that way we can bring Guardian from the deck to the main field. There we go. And then link these two off into Splash Mage once again. And then off of Guardian, he's going to bring himself back. And then we are going to bring back Defensor from Splash Mage. Now we have the 2 level 4 bodies again for Alan Bershin. Now we're going to grab another Circular. Just to make sure we have it this time. So now that we have Circular, we can send Nabla to the graveyard. Oh, that was a bit careless there. Now we're going to send, oh, very almost careless again. So we definitely have to send Nabla. And the reason is because we need to tribute Alan Bershin to grab Nabla. And then this triggers Circular to get Super Factorial. And then Nabla from its own effect would tribute itself to get Diameter. Now we have all the bodies we need to climb into the actual combo, and then the extender will become very relevant in just a moment. So we're going to use Circular to go into Link Decoder. And then again, business as usual, we're going to use Splash Mage and Link Decoder to go into Transcode Talker. Transcode will bring back Splash Mage, and then Link Decoder will bring back itself. Okay, be careful not to put Link Decoder in this zone, guys, because once you do that, you fuck the combo. You can't really achieve full combo that way. So we're actually going to use these 3 now. So usually we would use Transcode, Diameter, and Link Decoder to go into Terahertz. But now, because we have an extender, we're going to go Transcode, Splash Mage, and Link Decoder, because they equate 6, into Firewall, Singularity. Now this is where the real magic happens, because we're going to special summon Subtraction. Now you have to special summon it to the zone that Singularity is pointing to. If you've done it to any of these zones, you're fucked up. So you need to put it to this zone, because the idea is that when we link it off into G Golem Crystal now, it will trigger the effect of Singularity to bring back any Cyburst monster from the graveyard. Now it's very tempting to just click Transcode, but you want to bring back Splash Mage, because the whole purpose of creating G Golem was so that we could bring back Transcode by its own effect. So now we've got 5, we've got more than enough to go into Terahertz here. And then that's pretty much the end board, guys. And here we go. So I'm going to ignore that 1 second, put down this. Now, this is what I almost revealed on the last one, but I already explained the deck in the deck list showdown bit. So with Danmari, I find Danmari is 10 times better than Aggregator. And the reason why I like it so much is because, well, look, we'll send D-Save on first, end the turn, and then we'll send it in the actual draw phase. So let's do this now. There we go. Now, with Danmari, Danmari requires a Link 6 or higher monster. Well, there are no higher, actually. Link 6 monster to be on the field for it to activate its effect. So it can banish itself, which is the first part. So they can't just call by the Graver as it activates effect. It will already be in the banish pile. And then you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end. It's basically like... What is that card? It's like this Dragon Dark Synchro monster. I forgot the Hot Arch Fiend Red Dragon, something like that. I butchered the name, but it's something like that. And the reason why I like it so much is because it's a quick effect. Whereas with Aggregator, when we send it, we have to time it so that way Aggregator is in time in the same chain link reaction as to the card we're trying to negate. And that to me really sucks. I don't really like that type of play, but I accept it because, well, with just Terahertz, which is how I play, Danmari isn't very useful, and that is really unfortunate. If this worked for Link 5 monsters, holy shit, I would not even play Aggregator, because this card would just be it. I would happily take the bricking risk for this card to be useful, but again, that is completely up to you. You can opt this in for another consistency card, anything, another Mathmech body if you want, or hand traps, whatever. This is just something I thought was worth noting, because it really is such a strong card. Like, if we just let the bot play 1 card. Now, if we tried to use Aggregator, we would miss the timing, because look, it adds a card on activation, and a lot of cards in Master Duel have this, you know, quick play effect, because, well, the game is designed to be fast, regardless of combos taking like half an hour, and now it negates the effect. So we're in a good spot. So that's pretty much just something I wanted to highlight. And last thing to highlight, and I'm not going to play through to showcase it, when the bot summons a monster here, regardless of how it's removed. So if I remove it with Laplation, it will trigger the effect of Singularity to special summon any Cyberburst monster from the graveyard, and then that's when you can go for transcode, co-link it with Terahertz, and it just provides that extra protection to Terahertz going forward. So I think it's a really, really cool feature to take note of. But that's pretty much Firewall Mathmech, guys. I'm going to move on to Code Talker Mathmech, which is my favorite part, and then we'll wrap it up with a conclusion. Now, finally onto my favorite version of Mathmech, which is Code Talkers. So I have to say I'm pretty biased in this, but I will keep this as partial as I can. Now, the main feature of this deck is Signet Conflict. There is no other reason to actually play the Code Talker stuff other than this one card, and it's enough for me to be convinced that it's just amazing. So one, you need to know that this is a Omni Negate, so spell trap or monster effect, no matter where it's activated, but you need to control a Code Talker monster for this to be live. So that's something to note when I do the combos. Now, if you negate the activation, you can banish that card, and if you do banish that card, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects of that card with the same name, so even if they have multiple copies, until the end of the next turn. So we plan to actually use this card on their turn because we're going first, and then yeah, they can't use it until the start of their next turn. Like, it's crazy, so crazy. So yeah, this card is very, very impactful, and the ideal end board that you'd be looking to finish on is Super Factorial with Diameter as one of the bodies and two other Mathmech bodies, as well as Signet Conflict, a Code Talker body, whether that be Heat Soul or Protect Code, which I will try to convince you in the next combo bit, and then of course Terahertz on board with 2 interruptions. So that's pretty much the ideal end board. Now, the 2 combos I'm about to show you, the first one is to show you how you can achieve full combo with 2 level 4s. So that's basically circular, so either circular with the 1 card combo or 2 level 4 bodies to go into the 1 card combo and 1 extender, but you will sacrifice 1 interruption from Terahertz because you have to use its effect to make this work. So that's 1. And then the second combo is just full combo, no sacrifice of interruptions, but you do have to hard open with specific cards. So that's why we have search cards like Silent Mining and Small World. So really depends on the situation, but either way you can create this really strong end board and then just continue your plays from there. So without wasting any further time, let's jump straight into the combos. Okay, so guys, for the first Mathmech combo, as I said before, all we need is circular and an extender. Now, circular, like I said before, literally is just 2 level 4 bodies, so we could even get rid of circular and try get another extender from Signet Mining to show this, but I'll do that in the next combo. So what we will do is we will treat circular as the main body here, we'll send subtraction and we won't interact with it, and then we'll treat addition as the extender that we need. So let's special summon Sigma, because that is originally what we would have sent. So we grab Super Factorial from this, we use 2 bodies here to go into Alambertian, and then we just grab Diameter from this effect. And then we just continue from here. So we just normal summon Diameter to extend into our, special summon of I almost click subtraction there. So we'll bring back circular, and now we use the 2 to go into Splash Mage. Now I want to highlight here, you do not use Splash Mage's effect here because we did not open with Microcoder, which is ideally what we wanted here. So this is where the extender comes into play. We're going to bring out addition. Doesn't matter where you summon him because you're going to link him off into Link Decoder, and he'll naturally go into the spot where Splash Mage is pointing to anyway. Now you're going to use Splash Mage and Link Decoder to go into Transcode Talker, and then when Transcode brings Splash Mage back, you're still able to use the effect of Splash Mage. Now the reason we have to save it is because it's not a soft once per turn, it is a hard once per turn, which is unfortunate. And what I mean by that is when you use this effect once this turn, it's it. Like, you have to wait till the next turn for you to use it again. So we do have to save it. Now we're going to use Transcode as well as Link Decoder and Alambertian to go into Terahertz, and then we're going to use Terahertz to send Microcoder to the graveyard, so that Splash Mage, if you remember, can use its effects to bring out Microcoder, and then we can now use these 2 to go into a Code Talker monster. Now, I won't explain this yet. We'll go into Heat Soul just because it is the more favored of the community, but in the next combo I'll explain why I prefer Protect Code. And now that we've gone into a Code Talker monster, as you can see with the highlighted blue effect here, we can add a Signet spell or trap from our deck to our hand, and we're always going to go for Signet Conflict. And Signet Conflict is so good. I've already explained why I like it so much. And we drew a card, unfortunately not a hand trap, but we already have an impermanence anyway. So what I would do in this case is put down Imperm, then Signet Conflict, and then Super Factorial. And the reason I do that is because you want to bait out that this is the most important one, and you always want it in the far right or the far left column in case you are playing against Pendulum, guys. So yeah, this is pretty much a 1 interruption, 2, 3 interruption, 4 interruption, and I suppose by luck 5 interruption end board. Now this could have been a 6 interruption, but we had to use the effect of terahertz on the first turn that it was summoned to send microcoder, and now we will just send desave them right now. So let's send desave them now, see what we get. There we go, and then we'll use heat soul. Let's see what we pull from this. Okay, so not a hand trap. Okay, but that's pretty much the first combo, guys. So like I said, 2 level 4 bodies and another extender can get you this, because Mathmech Circular, like I said before, is basically just 2 level 4 bodies. Now, in the next combo, I will showcase what I mean by that, so that way I'm not just chatting out my ass, you actually have visual representation for it. So I'll see you there. Okay, so guys, for the second combo, I'm going to showcase how, firstly, these 2 cards are basically circular, and then how we need microcoder to get the full end board without having to waste the sacrifice of interruption. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So we're going to normal summon Ash, go straight into Almirage, and then from Parallel Exceeds effect, it's going to special summon itself, and then special summon a clone, an identical. I forgot this triggers so much. And now this is basically circular, because now that we can create Alan Bertian, we can just climb straight into circular and then have circular mill Nabla, and then I say this all the time, guys, so I hope I don't have to repeat it too much, but for the sake of new players, I think, yeah, I'm just going to keep replaying it, and if it's annoying, then just mute me or don't watch. That's up to you. So let's get Alan Bertian to tribute itself, get Nabla. Yep, can't wait to get rid of this. Yep, so let's get Super Factorial, so that's now confirmed. And then we're going to use Nabla to, we're going to tribute Almirage. Now, I don't advise that you actually do this. You always should tribute itself, but Almirage is just going to annoy me. So I'm just going to bring out Diameter through this means. And now we're going to make Splash Mage using these 2. It doesn't matter which of the 3 you use. You just need to make Splash Mage. Now, we can actually use Splash Mage's effect because we have microcoder in hand. And why that's, why that's relevant is because microcoder can actually be used as a link material from the hand for a code talker monster, and that is the purpose of why we use microcoder. So if I just go into link decoder here, let's do this first, and then we're going to use Splash Mage and link decoder to go into transcode talker, and then of course just keep extending the bodies. Link decoder brings itself back, bring back Splash Mage through the effect of transcode talker. And now, same again, we're going to make terahertz with transcode, link decoder, and Nabla. I almost thought I didn't get Diameter, but I just remembered we tributed Almirage, so we're good, guys. We're all good. Now, we're going to send desave one because we don't need to send microcoder, which is great. And this is why the combo is so optimal at this point. And now we can just use microcoder from hand to go into protect code. Now, you can go into heat soul, and we could do, the draws on this turn and the next turn to see what we get. But I'm going to talk you through why I am a big favor of this card. I am a big fan of this card at the minute. I just think it's a lot better in the current format that we're in. So let's have a look. Let's put these down, and I guess we'll bait out with this as well. So if we go through Protect Code's effect, now your opponent cannot target Link 4 higher monsters you control with card effects, so terahertz, and then of course the second effect is they cannot be destroyed by battle. But a lot of our Link 4 monsters are pretty big monsters anyway. They're pretty much towers, so yeah, I wouldn't have to worry about that second effect too much. But the second effect of it, which is if you control a Firewall Link monster, which is terahertz, as a quick effect, you can banish Link monsters in your graveyard so that they equate 3. So that could be Lingeribo and Splash Mage, because Splash Mage being 2, Lingeribo being 1, that equates 3. Or you can just banish Transcode altogether, and then that goes into, your Protect Code here. And then, of course, we also have, where has it gone? Almirage as well, which I wouldn't mind banishing at this point. So the reason why that's relevant is so let's say this is a good scenario, good example. So my opponent summons Fenrir. I negate Fenrir's effects by sending Aggregator, and then he decides to attack into Protect Code because 2400 attack, 2300 attack, and Silent Conflict is known enough in the game that they know that I need a code talker on board for this effect to be live, and it's really annoying to try playing against this. So they'll attack into Protect Code without actually reading the effect of Protect Code, and then I'll just bring back Protect Code by its own effect in the battle phase. So they've lost the battle phase now, and now in main phase 2 and between main phase 2 and the end phase, I still have Super Factorial and Silent Conflict live. And at this point, they pretty much scoop because, well, how are they going to play through board removal and a, hand removal with the Omni Negate as well as Silent Conflict? Like, yeah, I don't know. This is such an insane board, but usually when you have Heat Soul, the example I just provided, he would attack into Heat Soul, and he'd force me to use my Super Factorial quite early. And you never know what your opponent has for main phase 2, and particularly with Kashteras, they can just special summon themselves from the hand, and it's unlimited. So if he had another Fenrir, he would just bring out anyway, and then continue the combo from there. And it's just one of those things I think, I don't know, is worth the sacrifice. So I'm happy to trade the risk or benefit of getting more hand traps for the idea of having more protection for not only terahertz, but just for my Silent Conflict as well. So that's pretty much why I play Protect Code, but that's just my opinion. If you guys, have an alteration, have a difference of opinion, then by all means play this deck how you want to play it. I just want to present this as an option to you guys. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here. There's not really much else to say. I'm going to leave everything for the conclusion, where we will summarize all the points together, and then we'll go through the comments. Okay. All right. Take care, guys. Okay, so guys, I thought we would just do a brief summary of each variation of Mathmech with the combos, and I'll try and keep it as short as possible. So with pure Mathmech, the goal is to have Terahertz, Heat Soul, and Super Factorial, and then draw into as many hand traps as possible. I think the pros of this deck are you're just playing multiple copies of Mathmech. You're not relying on any support system, so you have a lot of starters and extending cards like Silent Mining and Small World to keep your combo going if you're a bit short of materials. Now, I like that because it provides consistency, but the drawback effect is, in this current format, that end board to me is not enough consistently. Sometimes it is, don't get me wrong, I've won with less of an impact full board, but for me, I feel if you can provide more consistency with impact, then take the risk. But that is just how I play it, so that's how I would sum up pure Mathmech. Now, the Spirit Line Mathmech is pretty much identical to pure Mathmech. The only difference is you can get that second Laplation pool, and to me that's actually somewhat worth it. I cannot describe how many times I have enough bodies to go into not just a second Laplation, but the rest of my combo. So I wouldn't be sacrificing an opportunity cost of which one can I do by sacrificing the other. I could do both, but I don't play a second Laplation. So I am heavily considering playing a second Laplation for that purpose. And this deck is great at doing that, just because every spirit body is not only level 4, but they're free. They're very free just to summon onto the board, particularly Sakitama. I just think Sakitama being a UR is such a deterrent for the spirit line. So if it was a super rare, I'm pretty sure everyone would play it, but because it's not, yeah, that sucks a lot. And that's why they made the Firewall stuff rare. But yeah, that's pretty much the Spirit line. I think it has the same pros and cons as the pure Mathmech, just with the addition of Laplation. Now, with Firewall, I have to say Singularity is such a cool card, but again, it's just such a preference point if you want to play it. It is really powerful. It's just so dependent on having different types of monsters in your graveyard. So if you have D-Save one in the graveyard, which we showcased that we did, you can get 2 bounces, but as soon as you have to use the save one, it becomes 1 bounce, which isn't bad. It is a really good effect on its own, but stuff like X Purely Noir, first of all, that stuff shuffles things back into the deck. So the only time we get that similar effect is if we go for a monster from the extra deck, and I don't know, it doesn't really provide the same impact in my opinion. And then of course, X Purely Noir being a Xyz monster, depending on the number of materials it has, it can just do that same effect multiple times in the same turn. So I do think that Singularity lacks in that way, but I think the main point of Singularity is not only board building but recovery. So if anything leaves the monster zones that it's pointing to in your opponent's main monster zones, through the removal of Laplation, we can just special summon Transcode again, like I said in the video. So I do think it has a lot of pros towards being a strong card. I'm just not a huge fan. The only thing that really attracts me to playing it is Danmari. Danmari is such a good card, guys. If Aggregator was like that, then I think Mathmech would be broken. We'd have too many negates because they would just be quick effects and they'd just be way too easy to use. So yeah, I do think that, yeah, Danmari is so much better. I wish it was for Link 5s, but it is what it is. I'm just professing my feelings here. So yeah, that's pretty much Firewall Mathmech. I think the drawback is that, the setup is quite extensive, and Firewall Singularity requires a lot of materials to get into, and it's not good by itself. So that's pretty much the cons, but the pros are that they're just huge bodies. If your opponent does not have naturally big bodies on board and you have the negates to stop them from destroying your monsters, or even having Defensor in the graveyard because that protects them from destruction, then yeah, your opponent is just fucked. Terahertz by turn 2 can be 8,000 attack. That is nuts. And then of course Singularity gains some points as well, and yeah, it's just crazy. I can't believe how big the numbers are. I remember Boomer Yu-Gi-Oh 2500 was a lot, so yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, let's move on to Code Talker Mathmech, which it is my favorite, but to be very partial and fair, I have to say the cons of Code Talker Mathmech is that if you can't secure the Code Talker line, you may as well play pure Mathmech because the end board is the same. It's Super Factorial with Heat Soul or Protect Code with terahertz. And that, again, like I said, with pure Mathmech, with the current format of things, most times it's not enough, but sometimes it is. So can't complain too much. If I can get the pure Mathmech combo at a minimum, I shouldn't complain. But I do like to have Cynet conflict. I think a counter trap is just so hard to anticipate these days. It's just too hard to play against. And so many of my opponents, they leave when they know that I'm not using my Cynet conflict early, because they're trying to bait it out as much as they can. And if I know in their minds if they're saying that if I can't bait it out with this particular effect, then I may as well scoop, because the next thing that does provide impact, he'll just banish. And it's true. It just is true. So just one of those things. And yeah, I do think code talkers are really good for that reason. But again, I'd made this video so that you guys can make your own decisions as to what you want to play. I play a mix and match, so I encourage you to try different variations yourself. And to be honest, guys, I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. If you think I'm chatting up my ass, then by all means let me know. But be constructive, be nice about it. Like, I just come back, so yeah, be nice. But either way, yeah, thanks for watching the video. But if you have any questions, yeah, just shoot them in the comments, guys. I'll be right there. But yeah, in other words, I'm going to see you in the next video, and yeah, can't wait to release it. Take care, guys.